Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe, Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. On today's video, I'm doing a comparison cook on two briskets from Snake River Farms. A Snake River Farms Black and a Snake River Farms Gold Wagyu brisket. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So I've got my briskets here. This brisket over here on my right side is a Snake River Farms Gold, and this is the black over here on my left side. And I gotta tell you, these are monster briskets. This one's probably a 19-pound brisket, and this one is 18.21, the gold is. So I'm just gonna move the gold one aside here for a little bit, and I'm gonna pop this one open. Got a lot of juices in there, so I'm gonna be careful not to cut into the meat. And I gotta tell you, Snake River Farms, they use a really thick plastic for their packaging. So it's the juices are not going to come out, and I don't think that you'll get like air into the packaging like on some of the store-bought stuff. I mean, they use a really high quality plastic, so that's the first thing I noticed. Now, I did cook I have cooked a black before and did a comparison cook versus a prime to see if the black was really that much better. And I'm gonna leave a link up top so you guys can see that video. But check it out, and it was definitely the black was definitely the better tasting brisket on that video. So just move this plastic aside, just like that. So obviously the first thing I noticed is that these are trimmed already. Now I'm going to take some of this fat off, some of this hard fat here, and then the marbling. Hopefully you guys can make that out. Look at this. So I'm going to clean some of this up as well. Some of this fat. I'm going to take some of the decal fat off. Okay, so this, and then I'm also going to trim. I like to start. You guys have seen my brisket trim videos before. I like to start off with a nice clean edge. So I'm going to take some off of this edge over here, this edge, and this edge over here. Just take a nice amount off. Just a little bit, because again, this is a really high quality brisket. But I gotta tell you, look at this marbling that's on the flat already. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm just gonna do my standard Texas trim on these. Not a whole lot of trimming. One thing that I did notice on my last cook on the black is that it was a lot easier to trim than any other prime that I've ever done before. So, and I'll give you an example. Now, I'm not going to show the whole trimming process. I don't want to bore you guys, but look at how easy this fat, some of this fat that's on this flat, comes off. I mean, it's really easy to come off. On a lot of the other briskets, the prime, one thing that I've noticed is that like the fat is stuck to the meat really, really good, but not on these. The fat is quite easy to trim. Here's another example right here. Okay, so I'm going to clean these up pretty equally. I'm not going to take a whole lot of fat off of the fat side, but I am going to clean this flat portion up. Now let me open up the gold for you guys, and I will be taking again a lot of this off. So let me open up the gold. We'll just do a comparison right out of the gate. And the gold briskets do come with this kind of gold netting, and they do come with a tag. I'll show you guys that. This has a tag right here. It says gold on it, and the only difference between the gold and the black, I got to tell you, is the scale that they grade these on. The marbling scale. I'm sure that's what they refer to it as. So the golds are a 9 or higher. And obviously your blacks are an 8 or lower. So that's how they that's how they distinguish if it's a black or a gold brisket. That's a big brisket there. So let me pull this one out here. Toss this in the trash. just like that. All right, so again, this one is, again, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of trimming, not a whole lot. But let's look at the fat here. So let me pull the other one out so you guys can do a comparison here. All right. So right out of the gate, I can tell you that the Wagyu Gold has a much more, like a red, more richer color to it. And the fat marbling is a little bit finer. This one, if you can see that on the camera, the fat marbling is a little bit wider. So this is a little bit more finer and more, it's definitely more pronounced. You can definitely see it all over the place. Whereas this one, you know, has heavy marbling here on this side, a little bit of marbling on the edges, but not like this one. Hopefully you guys can make that up on the camera. So guys, I'm gonna trim these briskets up, and once I take a lot of this fat and silver skin off of the flat here, I think we'll be able to gauge these briskets a little bit better and be able to see the marbling on these briskets. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So I've got my briskets trimmed, and the one on my right side, which is this one right here, is the Wagyu Gold, and this is the Wagyu Black. And the only thing that I noticed, as I mentioned earlier, is the marbling on this one. The fat is a little bit more pronounced. On this one, it's marbled a lot more. The marbling is a lot finer, and throughout the entire brisket. Hopefully you guys can see that. But the marbling is amazing on the point and on the flat, on both of these briskets. Now the one big difference is the Wagyu Gold has a much more red color, so it's a little bit more bolder color, and this one's obviously still red, but not as dark and rich as this one over here, the Wagyu Gold. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to rub these down. Again, this is my Wagyu Black, and I will be cooking these fat cap up. So the first layer of rub that I'm going to use is the garlic jalapeno from Victory Lane Barbecue. Just add a good layer of this, about 10 inches away from your brisket, and add enough of it. Don't be afraid to add some to it. It's a big piece of meat. Okay. Now the second rub is a rub that we are working on, that Victory Lane and I are working on coming out with, but this is the final rub, if you will. So it's not available for purchase yet, and that's all I'm going to say about this rub here. But just know that it's coming out here pretty soon. So as you can see, it's got some good pepper in it. It's got a nice red color in it. So again, I'm going to add enough of this rub to it. No binders whatsoever. You guys that have seen me cook briskets before know that I do not use any binders whatsoever. So don't forget the point. But the marbling is amazing on both of these briskets, and the fat was really easy to trim on both the fat cap and the point. To trim, I normally leave a lot of the silver skin on the point, and this time I decided to take all of the silver skin off of the point. So let me flip this around so you guys can see the fat cap. But look at that color on this rub. All right, these are big boys. So again, I took a lot of the fat off, as you can see here, but I still left a good 1/4 inch of fat, and you'll be able to see the rub a little bit better on the fat cap than you will on the point side. And again, because this is a big piece of meat, don't be afraid to put enough of the rub on there. Now, one thing that I do want to mention as well, as far as applying this much rub, a lot of people might shy away from putting this much rub on something. You have to think that, or you have to remember that when you slice your brisket, okay, you're given some really nice thin slices. So when you eat this, you're really only getting a small edge of the rub. It's not overpowering. It's not going to be overpowering or anything like that. So just remember that, especially on this cut of meat. So far I'm really pleased with this. This is exactly how I'm going to rub the Wagyu Gold. And I will be cooking these on my Yoder Flattop outside. I'm going to start with 2 baskets of charcoal and then 1 split of wood. So I'll bring you guys outside as soon as my Yoder Flattop is ready. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So we're outside at my Yoder Flattop. And I did put 2 baskets of B&B lump charcoal and 1 split of post oak wood. So I'm going to let this ash over probably about 10 minutes. And as soon as I put my briskets on, I'll bring you guys back, so stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So my pit temperature is 275. It's jumping between 275 and 300, and I'm okay with that. So put my briskets on there. As you can see, they're looking mighty nice. I will be spritzing with apple cider vinegar and water, mix it 50-50, but probably not for 3.5 hours or so. So at that point, I will bring you guys back, so stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So it's been 3 hours now, and my bark is set. The temperature's been staying right about 286, 290 or so, and I'm okay with that. So it's cooking a little bit fast, but again, these briskets are Wagyu briskets. They can take it, and as long as I'm maintaining that temperature, I'm okay with it. So I'm going to go ahead and spritz it again, 50-50 apple cider vinegar and water. Alright, just like that. So I just dropped another 2 splits of wood as well. So again, I'm just going to close this up probably another 2 hours. We'll come back and check on the color. So stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So it's been 5 hours since I put the briskets on, and they are ready to be wrapped. I checked the internal temperature. We're at 160 degrees. I've got the nice color that I always look for on briskets. Real nice dark bark. So at this point, it's time to add some Cosmos Q brisket mop, and I got it mixed with some beef broth. And I don't overdo it. You guys have seen me do this before. Just make sure that the entire brisket gets some of this brisket mop, just like that. And sometimes you make a mess. It's okay. So just about that much, and I am using butcher paper. At this point, go ahead and fold it over. Get that juice in there. Fold it over. Just like that. Fold the right side over. And again, my fat cap was up. Now my fat cap is down. And now it's back up again. So I'm going to go ahead and do this same thing. This was the Wagyu Black, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing to the gold. We'll leave them back in the smoker. I can go ahead and crank up the heat if I wanted to, which I will. I'm going to probably put 2-3 more splits of wood in there and get the temperature up to 350 degrees. So I'll see you guys back probably in 3 hours, so stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So the briskets are ready, and the total cook time was right at 11 hours. And I got to tell you, this is my first time that I've cooked the brisket 100% of the time on my Yoder Flattop, and the bark on these briskets is crazy. It's almost like, if you guys remember my El Rey, those of you guys that have been following me for a while, it gives you that kind of bark quality. And again, I did cook these fat cap up, so both of these are fat cap up. Now this is the Snake River Farms Black, and this is the gold right here. So right out of the gate, I am really impressed with the bark. The briskets look really nice, guys, really nice color. I did separate the fat, and more than half of the fat separator was au jus, half of it was fat. And again, I expected that because these are so rich, and they've got a lot of marbling in the brisket itself. So look at the amount of au jus that came out of one brisket. So it's a lot. So I'm going to be dipping these slices in this au jus. So one thing I want to do for you guys is give you that money shot, the money shot that everybody fights for, if you will. And I'm going to be splitting the points first, and we're going to do a comparison on the points themselves just to see how juicy they are. So I'm going to go right around here. Oh my lord, it's like butter, guys. Okay, so that's that one. That is the Wagyu Black, and this is my Wagyu Gold. I can tell you there's still plenty of moisture in this brisket. Let me turn this around. Let me turn this chopping board around. I do have a paper towel under this, so it shouldn't slip on me. All right. So again, this is my black right here. And this is the black money shot. Extremely juicy. I mean, this is beyond juicy. Guys, look at this. Okay. So really pleased with that. Man, that's awesome. And this is the gold right here. This is the point off the gold. Man, this brisket is extremely tender as well. So here's a money shot on the gold. Extremely juicy as well. Actually, much more juicy than the black for sure. So got a little bit of a smoke ring on this brisket as well. So the next thing is to grab a couple of slices off of the flat. And let me just make sure that, and again, I did cook this fat cap up so the flat is on the bottom. So we're just going to take a slice right here off the middle somewhere. Look at that, guys. It's like butter. Got me a nice thick slice off of there. And then we're going to get a nice thick slice off of this one here as well. Extremely juicy. Really, really tender. Alright, we're just going to get one slice off of each brisket, and I'm going to judge that off of that. And again, I got it somewhere in the middle. So this is my Wagyu Gold. Hang test. Look at that. Extremely juicy. The hang test is good, as you guys can see. Okay. And this is the Wagyu Black. A little more. I think I get more. Now this is a thicker slice too, so, but not too bad. Not too bad. And again, I will be dipping these in the au jus. I'm going to back the camera up, and we're going to give this a taste. So stay tuned. All right, welcome back. So I've got these slices. I've already dipped them in the au jus. Again, this is my gold. So see how it hangs over? Pretty good there. And this is the black. So similar. I mean, this one's a little, I did cut this one a little bit thicker. Actually, let me just get a little thinner slice just to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples here, okay? Get a little thinner slice. It's good. It's important to have a good knife. So let me dip this in the au jus. All right. So see, now the slices are evenly cut. I gotta tell you, this Wagyu Black from Snake River Farms is definitely hanging better. Now they're both hanging good, but I think the hang test is definitely going to go to the black. And let's give this a taste. Actually, let me do the pull test here. Not too bad. There we go. Wow, that's delicious. The smoky flavor that I'm getting on this brisket is absolutely amazing. Really nice and tender. There's nothing wrong with this Wagyu Gold. Let's try the black. Pull test. Oh man. This one's pulling a little easier. I think a little easier than the gold. So, here we go. Let me get this bigger piece. Cheers. Oh man. Wow. Guys, you're not going to believe this, but this black, the Wagyu black, is more tender than the gold for some crazy reason. Now I did cut a thinner slice because I thought that the slice I had cut originally, which is this one, was a little too thick, but this is really tender. Let me give this another shot here. Good, absolutely good flavor. That rub, the smoky flavor. Let me give this Wagyu black another shot here. Got a little bit more fat on that one, so it's buttery. But I got to tell you, I think this black is more tender for some crazy reason. As far as the point itself, it's still juicy. I mean, you can see the juices coming out. The point on the gold, I think, was a little bit more juicy, and but they're both really good. But I got to give it to, on this comparison cook, I got to give it to the black, guys. In fact, let me give some to my daughter, which is my camera lady, and get her opinion. Try this little piece, babe. And let me give her a little piece of this one. She doesn't like the fat, so I take that off for her. Like it? Try this piece. Which one do you like? This one? It's more tender? So my daughter thinks it's more tender. The black is more tender as well. The flavors are, I think, are equal. But this has, for some reason, this has a little bit more smoky flavor. I think from the Yoder Flattop for some reason. And again, I don't know what it is. I mean, they're both really good. I won't turn any of these briskets down. But on this comparison, that black is definitely the winner in my book and in my daughter's book. We're actually having a party at a neighbor's house. I'm gonna grab some of these slices and I'll leave a comment in the comment section on what they thought, which one they thought was more tender and had the better overall flavor, and I'll leave that on the comments. But hope you guys like this video. This is a lot of brisket. I'm gonna let it cool down, take some to this party. The rest I'm just gonna put in my deep freeze. But hope you guys like this video. This is the, I think, most epic video that I've ever done with some really expensive briskets from Snake River Farms, and really pleased. That Yoder Flattop did an amazing job. 11 hours total cook time. I did crank the temperature up to about 320 after I wrapped it, so that sped the process up because my bark was already set at that point. I didn't need any more color. So, but overall, really pleased with the results, the briskets, the Yoder Flattop. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below. Give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. See you guys.